The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, the Florida Lottery, Best Parts, Best Prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Contender Boats, Performance Through Innovation, Navionics, We Start Where the Roads End, and Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
I'm happy we could get you exactly what you wanted.
Not as happy as I am.
Maybe not, but close.
Here's your new Silverado with everything you wanted in Victory Red, my friend.
Victory is mine.
I feel good knowing you got exactly what you wanted.
Is this a great day or what?
The Chevy Model Year End event. The 13s are going fast. Time to get yours. Now, current Chevy truck owners can trade up to this 2013 Chevy Silverado All-Star Edition with a total value of $9,000.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Make sure you check out our website at the ChevyFloridaInsiderFishingReport.com, where you can get daily reports from our 9 captains. Also, if you'd like to be featured on our show, upload your best photos to our Facebook page. And if you'd like to be part of our audience, you can register there as well. Now let's get to the Central East with Captain Jim Ross. Captain Jim, it sounds a little bit like a little bit of gym time. Wouldn't hurt anyone out looking for Amberjack.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. They are the hardest fighting fish species that we have around here in my CCA Central East region. I'm telling you, these fish will put a beat down on you, and I know the rest of the guys have already been talking about it, but if you're willing to tussle one of these things, be prepared to get beat down, because they will. They're basically right now on about the 80 to 130-foot depths because we've got cold water that's kind of been pushing in along the Central East region. Most of the rest of the year, they're in about 160 to 250-foot depths. They prefer to hang around larger wrecks versus kind of some of the smaller ones, and they're pretty common residents on the cones or steeples that are located in 240 to 260 feet of the water throughout most of the year. Now, most of our amberjack are caught by using live bait on a standard bottom rig with a VMC 8382 Nemesis circle hook. But, you know, the Williamson vertical speed jigs and even the Williamson 7-inch jet poppers will work. Those topwater chuggers will work when the fish get excited, and especially when they're up in the water column suspending above the wrecks if we have some of that cold water going on. Our average fish is running about 25 to 60 pounds, but they will get up to about 90 pounds. Now, I've got a photo of a king mackerel that we caught on a circle hook. And for those of you who have not fished a circle hook, it's a very, very effective way to fish because you can catch a lot of these reef species on it. And I just wanted to prove that fact by showing this king mackerel photo on 60-pound monofilament leader. We were actually tarpon fishing when we landed this 30-pound king. So the main thing is with a circle hook is you have to let it set itself. If you try to set it, you will miss the hook or you will set it improperly. Now, moving on to my next species, which is mangrove snapper. They're still pretty good here in my region as well on the offshore waters. Cold water upwellings are still plaguing this region, like I said before, but the snapper have moved around a lot, and they're finding places that are comfortable, like wrecks and reefs, and they're suspending above them. The 70 to 120-foot depths seem to be the most consistent places to find them throughout the region right now. And you can chum them up to the surface if they're in the middle part of the water column, and then drift little pieces of bait back to them, or whole live shrimp or finger mullet or pilchard or some of those kinds of things as well. Now, our average mangrove snapper is running about 3 to 6 pounds, but there are a few larger fish striking this week as well. Now, speaking of that cold water, once again, I've got a photo of a sailfish. And this is one that Captain Jamie Glasner landed not too long ago. He was right off the Cocoa Beach Pier in about 40 feet of water. Now, these are the kinds of things that we have happen in my part of the region when that cold water starts cruising into our area, because it pushes the fish into areas that we don't normally find them, like this sailfish so close to shore. And speaking of inshore, I've got redfish. We've got redfish every day of the week around here in the Central East region. And right now, the best place to find them is the Holliver Canal if you're fishing at night. Live shrimp, mullet, or pinfish seems to be working really good. And the stronger the wind is blowing, the more water it pushes through there, the better the redfish bite becomes. The slot-sized fish are on the adjacent flats, real close to the entrance of the canal, but not really in the canal most of the time. And they're hitting shrimp, they're hitting live baits, they're hitting different things like that, or cut baits throughout the day. And once again, we're going back to using that VMC circle hook, but on the redfish, we want to use the 7385 model. That's the tournament circle. They basically just let your bait sit on the bottom, they'll pick it up, and you're going to catch a lot of fish if you just let the rod holder do the work and let that VMC circle hook dig in properly. Most of those fish are running about 23 to 27 inches, but we do have some 20 to 35-pound fish cruising around as well.
All right, what else?
Last species.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I stepped on you.
That's all right, buddy. My last species of the night is speckled trout. Indian River, once again, is still the best place to find them. They're striking topwater plugs early, and then they're switching over to those saltwater assassin sea shad heads on a jig head, or tails on a jig head, or live or cut baits. The scatter wrap minnow is working really good if you're fishing the 4 to 7 foot depths near docks or around grass flats. And that new scatter wrap is super effective. If you guys haven't tried it, you need to get out there and check it out. Get the minnow style, though, because it looks like a glass minnow or a finger mullet. And really good places right now are Newfound Harbor in the Banana River, the Dragon Point area around the mouth of the Ogallie River, and the Sebastian River mouth as well, and anywhere you get any other kind of water draining in or intersecting into the Indian River. The scatter wrap and that new BX minnow, the jointed minnow, is catching fish that are running 14 to 18 inches. But we got a couple of larger fish running around as well this week. So make sure you get out there, get to my CCA region, and catch you some fish.
Hey, Jim, I got a question for you. Now, we're talking about the jointed Balsa X minnow. I'm sitting here holding it as you can, as I was just showing everybody with watching. The question is, how do you fish this and compared to the BX minnow that is not jointed? Do you do it any differently? Because I know I am, and I want to share that with everybody after you get done.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Rick. I just started using them, so I haven't really looked at those two particular baits enough to see if there's a difference in them. But I do know that generally when I use a jointed minnow, I don't twitch it quite as much as I do with the standard straight unjointed version.
All right, I'll tell you what I know. Certainly, you're absolutely right. When you twitch it real hard, what ends up happening sometimes, because the tail of the minnow can wrap around and it gets foul hooked on the line. The one thing that I have noticed, though, Jim, and you might want to confirm this after you get time doing it or fishing them, is that they actually go a little deeper by nature because of the jointed minnow. Now, that big snook that we showed Lauren catching a few weeks ago, she actually caught on that jointed minnow, remember?
Mm-hmm, I sure did.
All right, well, let me go ahead and get to the hot spots from the Central East region. Captain Jim says, inshore, speckled trout in all 3 lagoons using Rapala diving plugs near the pods of glass minnows. And then offshore, amberjacks in 80 to 160 feet of water on those wrecks. Use pinfish rigged on a VMC circle hook, Lauren.
Okay, fun stuff. Now
Yeah,
let's
man.
head to the Panhandle with Captain Pat Deneen. Pat, let's talk amberjack.
Hey, Lauren, Rick, how's everybody doing?
Good. How you, Pat?
Good, Rick. I tell you what, amberjacks, we get them year-round. Currently, they're closed for harvest till August 1st. But they're still out there, and they're still catching them in places that they're not normally catching them. I talked to Captain Tony Davis on the Anastasia, and he says that they're pretty much everywhere. He's catching jacks on small wrecks and rock piles that he hadn't seen jacks for years. we get a good shallow water bite in May when all these smaller jacks come into the 65 to 75-foot depths and get up on top of the metal structures, the barges and whatnot, and we can get them up on top. But generally speaking, the deeper you go, the better your jacks are going to be. So the best quality and quantity are going to be on those wrecks in 150-plus feet of water, and they respond real well to a fast-moving bait like a hardtail. I like to use a nice long leader, give that hardtail plenty of, or blue runner, plenty of leash to run around and get excited and get the jacks fired up. But a ladyfish or a threadfin also does real well, and also a little gumdrop bonita, a little small bonita is a really great big amberjack bait. A slip sinker rig with a long leader, like I mentioned, and a circle hook. The near shore, the jacks are running 24 to 28 inches, so it's typically not legal fish. The deeper you go, the bigger they're going to be. 50-plus pounders are not uncommon, and I've seen some over 100 pounds brought to the dock. So that's a whole lot of pain right there.
All right, Pat, before we go offshore, I want to take a look at the navionics from your region. Now, guys, what we're talking about here is the area just outside or just south of Pensacola Pass. You can see the pass here. And what we're doing is the Oriskany, which is the biggest artificial reef ever made, which was a giant aircraft carrier. Commissioner Edwin Roberts, back when he was one of the commissioners of the FWC, was responsible of having this put in there. But what was so neat is how, looking at the sonar soundings, how they laid it so that it sits right here on this edge. And by laying it on the edge, I can imagine that the current really allows those AJs as well as a lot of other different pelagics to be caught. Now, guys, if you use Humminbird units, you can go there and take a snapshot or a screenshot video and submit that to Navionics and potentially win a whole bunch of cool prizes, and we'll give you more about that contest in the future. But, Pat, what else you have for us offshore?
Hey, Rick, the red snapper bite is still real good. It's open for recreational harvest till July 14th, and we've been catching plenty of them on the artificial wrecks and also on natural bottom in 80 to 120 feet of water. A live cigar minnow or herring is a really good bait, but you can also chum them to the surface if the current's not too bad and then just drift the dead bait back to them. But by far, a live bait on a slip sinker rig is the standard practice, a 40-pound leader. The fish are running maybe 20 to 24 inches, but some fish up to like 6 to 8. We caught one today, 13 pounds. So there's still plenty of those guys around. There's a photo there of Wes McNulty from Arkansas and his two boys, Josh and Jake, and they got a nice limit of red snappers with me yesterday. And Rick, he's our duck hunting connection right there.
All right, well, you tell him that you and I and he are going to be getting together real soon, because as soon as it gets a little cooler, El Guapo needs to come out of the closet.
That's right.
All right, let's go inshore.
The redfish. We've had almost 20 inches of rain this past weekend with this weather that came through, so there's a lot of fresh water have been dumped into our bays, but it hasn't seemed to affect the bite too badly, especially over in Pensacola. Captain Brad King reports a great redfish bite on the deeper docks and also on the deeper docks near the pass, and also the deeper docks on the western end of Santa Rosa Sound. A lot of 18 to 22-inch slot fish. He's using a live bait on a Carolina rig, fishing with croakers, pinfish, and menhaden. And then the Destin Pass, the bridge on the outgoing side, has been a really good bite for the upper slot fish and fish up to about 20 pounds. And those baits, or those fish, bite best on a live croaker, maybe a 4 to 5 inch fish. So that's been a good thing going. And then finally, gag grouper, which is normally an offshore fish for us, but in Pensacola Bay, it's 55 to 60 feet deep in there, and there's a lot of rock piles and ledges and junk piles. And they've been having a really good gag and red snapper bite using live baits or a butterfly menhaden on a Carolina rig. Like I say, look for the rock piles, the channel edges, and any other structure. If you don't have the numbers, do a drift and keep your GPS running. When you get a bite, mark that spot and then investigate it real well. The fish are running 6 to 12 pounds for the groupers and about the same for the snappers.
All right, good report, Pat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. Captain Pat says deep structure in Pensacola Bay for gag groupers and red snappers use butterfly menhaden. And then offshore, all the natural bottom south of Panama City for gags in 160 to 200 feet of water using live chauffeurs. It sounds like gag groupers is the way to go, Lauren.
Sounds like it. I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next time, can you leave your ladyfish cologne at home?
You got some gag grouper going on over here at the boat.
Gag grouper. Not cute.
Wiped his
Not cute. All right, guys, when we come back, you'll have the Costa Conservation Minute and Captain Russell Therrett. Stick around.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by RAPALA, Catch the latest at RAPALA.com. Reactor, the best built performance sports watch, period. STARTRON, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Sufix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And YAMAHA, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender boats. Performance through innovation.
Today's Costa Conservation Minute is about different types of silhouettes. So understand that if you can match the hatch in your region, you're going to find that you're going to get a lot more bites. Now, the one silhouette that comes to mind is certainly the mullet silhouette. Now, whether it's a subwalk or a skitter walk or another type of company or that makes different types of baits, the idea is this mimics a mullet. But then we also have baits that look like pilchards. Now, whether it's a twitch and wrap or, again, different companies, but we're all copying silhouettes. So you have the mullet, then you have actually the pilchard. Then we also have the minnow or the sardine. As you can see by this balsa X-Wrap minnow, it looks a lot like it could be a minnow or actually a mullet, finger mullet. The other thing you need to understand is you gotta be conscious to the size of the baits that you're trying to imitate. So you might use a 3.5-inch bait on the West Coast during the fall when you have a lot of those little silver sides running around, or if you got some finger mullet in the spring migrating down the coast, you might want to go up to a 5-inch bait. That's today's Costa Conservation Minute. It's about silhouettes and different size baits. You know, and that's the first thing, Lauren, that fish consider is they're going to the size or the shape of the bait is what they're going to consider for the bite first. Then color, I think, is their second choice. And certainly vibration plays in a role. But more importantly, guys, don't get so wrapped up on anything other than matching the silhouette to the time of year. Shrimp during the winter time, crabs during the summer, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Sure. You know, that made me think if you just grew this out a little, you could have a nice mullet silhouette.
Nice.
Right? Yeah?
Nice.
All right, last up tonight, we're going to check in with Captain Russell Theron. Russell, what do you have for us on Amberjacks in the Northeast?
Oh, that just tore me up. Oh, my Lord.
All right, Russell.
Okay, well, look here. Let me get here. I'm all upside down here right now, but I talked to Captain Bill Hunsaker. Now, Bill has the endless summer charters down here in St. Augustine here in Northeast Florida, and he said the Amberjack's caught here all year round, especially when the water temperature is above 70 degrees. Now, of course, during the winter months, that means you just need to get further out toward the ledge and fish closer to that warmer Gulf Stream. Most of the Amberjacks that are caught normally are in anywhere from 120 to 180 foot of water over the artificial reefs and wrecks. Now, Captain Bill says the best month to target the Amberjack is during the spawn, and that occurs during the month of April. Now, he recommends using heavy rods loaded with at least 50-pound main line, and then you want to use a heavy slip sinker or whatever weight you need to get down through the current to get to the bite. Tie on about a 10-foot of 80 to 100-pound 4-carbon shock leader with a 7/0 circle hook. The best baits to use for Amberjack are pinfish, grunts, or you can drop down a bucktail with a jig tipped with a squid. Typical size are going to run anywhere from 20 to 60 pounds. Now, I've got a great photo here of Jake Ogan. Now, he has an Amberjack that he caught on a bucktail jig that he was using about 22 miles off of Jacksonville fishing with his dad.
All right, well, let's stay offshore. What you got, Russell?
Offshore, well, Rick, I mean, this is the kingfish reports, and our waters are looking good. We definitely want to keep an eye on the weather, but the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, one of the largest tournaments in the country, is coming up next week. This is the time to get out and locate your winning kingfish. Some of the better areas here in Northeast Florida is going to be between Ponte Vedra, south of Matanzas Inlet, and 25 to 40 foot of water. Dave Workman recommends zigzagging from those depths. Also, some of the local favorites love like off from the red tops, or maybe over the captain's house north of the St. Augustine Inlet. Now, if you get offshore, you can run to the Elkton Bottom, Pump Warner, 9 Mile. The hospital grounds are also holding kingfish. Some of the best baits to troll with are going to be live blue runners, pogies, and ribbon fish. The kingfish are running anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds.
All right, let's go inshore, bub.
Inshore, Rick, the summer flounder, I keep getting more and more reports about some of the guys that are catching some nice flounders in the creeks and under the docks in 5 to 12 foot of water. Now, they're catching the flounder on the incoming and outgoing tide as long as the current is moving. Most of the flounder rigs are it's a common Carolina rig with maybe like a 3/8 ounce sinker with a number 2 Kale hook. Some of the best baits for catching flounder are going to be fingerling mullet and mud minnows. Typical size flounder going to run 1 to 3 pounds. Also inshore, you know, we're going to have a great low tide this coming weekend. So this is a time to be able to locate some schools of redfish along the Intracoastal Waterway. Even though that it's been hot and our water's been dirty, some of the best catches of redfish have been by using shrimp or bullhead minnows, mud minnows on a jig head. Now, what you want to do is cast out in front of a school of reds and just let it sit to get the bite. That redfish are able to pick up the scent and eat the bait even if they can't see it. Typical size redfish will run anywhere between 3 to 6 pounds. Now, I've got a great photo of Jeb Sprayberry with a 31-inch redfish that he caught with me behind Amelia Island over the 4th of July holiday weekend. This redfish jumped on a saltwater assassin she shad, a great gross paddle-tailed, and I mean he just jumped on it like it was nobody's business. I tell you what, our saltwater assassin products are some of the best products that you can use on the water.
You're right
now,
about.
Rick,
Go ahead.
What are we doing wrong here? Because Dave Workman's got a girls-only, free girls fishing seminar at the Strike Zone. Now, this is going to be Monday, July 15th at 6 p.m., and they want you to be sure to register at the Strike Zone. Girls only. I can't believe that.
You know, that's how it always is. The girls get, you know, they just run off with all of our glory, just like always. Now, Russell, I got a question for you. You know, you specialize in fly fishing in very shallow water or as those grass marshes flood in the fall. So what should somebody expect if they wanted to book a fly fishing wading trip with you? Quickly.
Well, you know, the biggest thing, Rick, like you said, it's all tide oriented. And the biggest thing is, if you can't see the fish, then basically, you know, you've got to be, the flood tides give us an opportunity to cast and catch tailing reds because they're rooting and tailing on fiddlers that are in the marsh. So some of the better months for doing that is August, September, and October, Rick.
All right, thank you so much, Russell. I'm going to go ahead and get to the strike zone hotspots from the Northeast region. Captain Russell says inshore, the flounder bite in the creeks and under the docks in 5 to 12 feet of water. Use fingerling mullet or mud minnows to catch those flounder. And then offshore, look for kingfish in 25 to 40 feet of water. The best baits are to slow troll live blue runners, pogies, and ribbon fish, just like you reported, Lauren.
That's right. When we return, we're going to tell you what we've got for you next week. Don't miss it.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using Sufix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lobster van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Sufix 832.
Introducing HELM Master, Yamaha's first fully integrated digital boat control system. With HELM Master, you can start your outboards with a swipe of a fob and control them with a single lever. Outboard trim and steering friction adjust automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. Adjust engine speed with the touch of a button. The HELM Master joystick provides the means to navigate and dock precisely with confidence and ease. Take control of your next vessel with HELM Master at your command.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you. The IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to IGFA.org.
Next week, we're talking lobsters and diving. Make sure to check us out next Thursday, July 18th. You can also catch repeats on Friday and Saturday. Just visit Sun Sports and your local listings for more details.
Now, I got to ask you something. You know,
oh, good.
You're married to the champ of the Indy 500.
Yes.
What has he been doing besides just traveling all over promoting? Tell me some of the cool stuff, quick.
He's been racing. They've been racing almost every single weekend. They just raced the second race of their Triple Crown. That was pretty cool, another big oval. And next week, this very next weekend, they're going to be on a doubleheader of our street circuit in Toronto.
Wow.
Doesn't stop.
That sounds like...
I'm going to Chica Lodge.
Hey, guys, you know what? You want to help Tony out? He's actually been nominated for an ESPY, so you can actually go on ESPN's website.
ESPYs.com.
ESPYs.com.
Vote for your best driver.
He's the best driver.
Tony Kanan.
Hey, good
Thanks,
to have
guys.
you back.
Yeah.